running, but Masha, you are stopping TODAK from going for that direct Hellcat Masha, the Masha plus one split push composition. And if you're TODAK right now, you should be expecting this to happen because RRQ, they have been watching TODAK show a lot of their hands in that Group C fight just to secure this first place. And if anything, they need a backup plan to deal with RRQ.
That's right. And starting off right here, I really want to point out one thing that ICBB did mention, where RRQ, of course, did pick up Boxia a couple of times and kind of have this sort of trend being set by them towards other teams as well. Now, Brock is being removed, being one of the most solid frontliners right up there. Loving that little bit of that Simpson mask going over on its side, but my eyes are fixated on this Kufra pick because this is going to be a really vital pick for RRQ.
Exactly, and I believe I also mentioned both to you and ICBB12 during the group stage that as the further we progress down this World Championship, the further the ban and picks for all the other teams is going to transpire. Kufra is getting led through because teams are not directly trying to counter what the enemy is trying to do. And you can look at TODAK right now, instantly the Hellcat and the Archive locked in for them. Hellcat was one of the pillar of TODAK's draft. It's going to be on Chiku.
Well, I'm not too sure how the Archive leapfrog towards the third pick, but of course there's only 2 picks for the side of TODAK for the time being. Now back towards the side of Liam as well as Sin, as we'll see another 2 picks for themselves as well. So slowly stacking this one up. I do believe that it will be great for them to actually match up with a tank coming to the table, or even the fighter in that sort of sense, and that will be the Tamas being locked in alongside with the Esmeralda. Really safe choices, if I must say, and Esmeralda has been frequently being banned out during the group stages as well. Now, speaking of Boxer, that will be Iwan here securing that one for Team TODAK.
Yeah, and you talk about the trendsetter from RRQ. They did play the Baxia, I believe, against Evo Singapore in Group A, the direct counter to Hylos. And the one team that made Baxia the monster that he is undoubtedly 10-second gaming plus. The Baxia on Surrey was absolutely amazing. TODAK taking a page off of that. RRQ, they banned out the Kimi.
That's right, and we're slowly heading in towards that phase number 2 as well, as we see, of course, as you mentioned, Kimi being banned away. But I'm looking at that Boxer pick once again. You speak about that Hala, so they're trying to negate that Hala pick going over in favor of RRQ, and maybe they might just be able to pick that one for themselves, but instead they axe it away. So for the side of TODAK, yeah, they do have some chance instead.
They actually ban out the Hylos, so for RRQ, there's still a couple of choices to go for. You have the Gato Kacha, we've seen a couple of times. You do have the Lolita, which is kind of the go-to tank if you look at the heroes that are not available anymore. But Evo's Legends, they showed us 2 games of Minotaur as well. Maybe RRQ, reigning from the same region, might pick up that Minotaur just to deal with what TODAK has to offer. But TODAK, they will have the first pick advantage in the second draft, and guess what? Dyrov will make an appearance on the grand stage.
Wow, Dyrov heading in towards this pick here. I thought that they would actually go in for perhaps a mage, because we see a lot of all those sort of the huge tanks already in the front lines, and now of course that's going to be something that's pretty well bursty. But speaking of burst here, Val is going to be brought in alongside with the carry as well, and hopefully by the time that carry scales in towards the late game, then we will see him shredding off that Boxia, but Changer as the very final pick to complete this whole entirety of the roster for both sides. We're also noting the fact that Lemon will be subbing in from Tutura's place.
Exactly, and you cannot pry TODAK away from that split push. They still want the 1-3-1. You take away Masha, fine. We give ourselves the Hellcat. We pick out this Dyrov. There is no way you can completely stop TODAK from picking the composition that fits into the split push playstyle. But one thing RRQ can do is to match the macro game. TODAK display an extremely precise macro management, and RRQ, they will need to kind of find a way to crack the code.
Yeah, and I believe that for the side of TODAK here, that you always have a plan B if their plan A fails, such as when they are attempting for a turtle. There's always going to be somebody pushing one of these lanes, and whenever there's that sort of that split push being done, it's going to be a sort of like a bait and switch. If they do appear anywhere across the map, then they will have to pick either one of these objectives to actually be given out away, and that's how they slowly make the enemies choose a sacrifice in towards that matchup and slowly regain that lead. But RRQ, they're no strangers to this sort of strat as well. And you mentioned about that 1-3-1 being into effect. I'm not too sure. How is the likes of TODAK going up against this formidable opponent? And RRQ here, definitely the favorites from the Indonesian side to also take that game. I've said it so many times before. And it's really evident that Lemon is indeed one of the best players in the world.
Exactly, and if you talk a Dyrop, I believe I've said it before in the group stage, good versus 1 versus 1. Gideon Q agrees, good against 1 versus 1, but if you need to deal with the entire team, Dyrop is just ineffective and is not that great of a hero to kind of team fight. So TODAK, they want to split up the map. Evo Gaming against TODAK during Group C was one of the best case studies that you can look at of how TODAK just slowly pry Evo Gaming apart and won the macro game, even though they were on the back foot.
Yep, and that game itself, we saw them slowly tearing towers after towers, and I just love the graphics. You can see a little bit of that stadium being filled up as well as, of course, each of these roles will be taken out, and I'm really fixated on that mid lane as well because Moon, he will be facing off the likes of Jago or even the likes of Lemon as well. So in that sort of sense, it really depends on how they're going to be actually faring this one out in that mid lane fight, and we'll see who will be scaling in towards the late game. It's time for us to head into match 1, game 1. We'll have RRQ versus TODAK.
It's finally time, Contra. It is finally time. The main event. Teams will fight with their lives. They will fight for their lives. RRQ against TODAK. Indonesia against Malaysia. There's no better way to start off this upper bracket.
Well, speaking of that, of course, we know that there is a huge tension between the two countries. They've been arguing who has the best MLBB players. Well, both sides, of course, supporting their own home country as well. Now it's time for them to prove a point. Lemon over top side here, slowly taking out all these minions as we see a little bit of that sort of movement hitting in towards the jungle, and it will be a 1 versus 2, forcing the flicker away from Lemon.
Yeah, that is the start that TODAK wants. You want to win the macro game, you need to make sure that RRQ have no utility, have no talents to work with. And now Liam counting with the arrival, the engage, the bouncing ball to stop Nernas in his tracks, but no kills for RRQ just yet. TODAK, they hold on.
Wow, Rejuvenate being used up as well, but here comes Jago joining into the picture as well. Chico for the flicker! That's a big first blood hitting the hands of TODAK as we see instant response coming for RRQ as well. Blow for blow, Nernas arriving to the scene, but instead he's getting chased out by Jago. Is there hitting Jago? And there we go! Another kill heading towards the back of Jago.
There was no way that Baxian could have escaped. Jago was on the way to level 4. You have the falling star to follow up regardless, but TODAK, absolutely amazing response to get that counter kill. Chico, we talk about keeping an eye on this Hellcat. That first blood was something that Lemon did not expect to happen at all.
Wow, the arrival. And every single spell was being used up in that sort of skirmish. But now, look at Liam as well as Jago pushing over the top side as well as the jungle as well. Trying to actually steal a couple of these camps, but Nernas is safeguarding some of all these camps by himself. So, of course, you don't really want to fully commit to his Boxia. And now Chiku gets a little bit of that upper hand as we see Turtle being slain. But, oh, Liam! There we go!
Liam, not gonna survive that, but the Tyrant's Rage almost kills off Nernas. Valiant attempt, great attempt in fact. The fact that the Chiku got the first spike burst on top of Liam, bringing him down to less than half health, that was why they were able to kill him off. But if any other case, I think Liam would have survived that, no problem. But now Chiku is going to get scary. 2-1-1. This early lead is going to benefit Hellcat so much, especially when they're dealing with carry. The gold grab doesn't show much difference just yet, but a little lead might be all our TODAK need. And now Jago goes for the engage. Not able to steal the buff away, but the rest of RRQ are going to collapse in Nernas. They call out with the tortoise poisons, not able to escape by the eerie engage. For meanwhile, the Hurricane Dash splits Liam from the rest of his team. Lemon is Dado, jumps right in, gets stunned by Boxia. Here comes the night, the light has been turned off. Chico right in, and TODAK find 2.
Wow, the huge invade started off right there as we saw Liam getting pummeled out and there was nowhere that Kufa could have escaped. And now even Lemon faltered for the second time coming. TODAK here staying real strong, and you know what? The sixth member of the team are definitely the crowd.
Yeah, and the crowd is going absolutely wild, and for a very obvious reason, Hurricane Dance for E1. Liam again isolated from his team. They do lose the Dyro, but to what avail? Here comes back up from Lemon, but Chico with the spike. Jago to go in with the ultimate, the falling star Moon not connecting onto Chico. He gets out, but Jago can he get anything in return? Moon zoning out this Esmeralda. TODAK they get out.
Liam here trying to re-engage as well. Here comes the knockout over onto Chico. They will take down the Halkern and shut him up. Now Jago re-engaging and stealing some camps away. They're trying to push it all the way through and hoping for a dive. Well, Sin has managed to secure one turret for the side of RRQ. Look at Esquire though. He's going to be diving all the way to the back, and this clear-off is causing a lot of mayhem.
The setup for the 1-3-1 Nernas though, not in a good spot. Barcia tanky, but might not be tanky enough. Trying to walk it off, but Kufra with the time defense, he actually gets out! Nernas will survive that 4-man gang, but Turtle goes over to RRQ.
Filthy escape as we see Nernas slowly backing away, and everyone thought that he would be able to actually fall right there, but he was pretty calm. He calculated every single dot of damage in that sort of sense. Now, we get the itemization. Everyone's still trying to work their way up towards their core items up, and of course, that's going to be the first item coming out for the side of Carrie, and she's aiming for that Demon Hunter sword much later on. But we'll get TODAK here. 3-man in the mid lane. Same goes to RRQ. They're kind of having a same sort of strat heading into this battle. That's why we keep seeing them lock horns time after time, and Jago now tries to go in for some chase.
There's a bait from Nernas, but Jago not going to go for it. RRQ, they are looking at the map right now and can see that they are TODAK going for the 1-3-1, but solo kill from Sin onto that Dyro. Now RRQ, they're looking for the opening. Nernas does get away with the ultimate, the disengage. But RRQ, they should have some confidence because of that solo kill, the 1-3-1. TODAK's specialty being exposed to a loophole.
Well, speaking of all these loopholes, definitely there's going to be a little leakage over the top side here. Flicker coming out from Chiku after the Dark Knight falls, so he will have a little bit of that sweet escape, but that will mean that the turret will be opened up, and there's a lot more space being created by RRQ.
RRQ, they're coming into the middle lane, and for the Barcia, for Nernas, not as active as Sure's Barcia from 10S Gaming Plus. RRQ, if you're dealing with this Kufra, you have to remember there is constantly the element of surprise. That was how the re-engage 2 minutes ago caught TODAK off guard. The gold grab showing RRQ's direction. They're gonna push X-Ray back, and they finish off the Dyro killing spree for Lemon.
And you were just talking about catching somebody off guard right there, and they just showed you how they do it. X-Ray now on the back foot, 0-2, and now a little bit of a tickle over the side of Moon as well. There might just be some engages heading in towards the side of Liam, but that's not going to be all too great for the side of TODAK to actually go in hastily. Now, Turtle's definitely spawning towards the lower side, which means that there's going to be some tussle in that jungle.
They're going to kill him off immediately. No way out. Mega kill for Lemon. They will try to zone out Nernas. RRQ going for this turtle. The one way to beat the speed push composition is to get those turrets early on, is to force them to team fight with a man disadvantage. And RRQ, they are doing everything right. Now sieging on the middle lane, but guess what? They found Moon and they send Chang'e back to the Moon indeed. Chico trying to run away with the Darkness Falls, and he will be able to get out, but Jago is waiting. Chico, they want some fruits. RRQ is hungry. They will find a mega kill for the Esmeralda.
Jago now 4-0. We're seeing a little bit of that change of tides as we see RRQ now getting a little bit of that slight lead, only 2k of the difference, but Jago trying to set up the dive, but there's no point engaging towards Nernas. Nernas just slowly falling back, and well, over on the top end, they still have not destructed that tier 1. So for the side of RRQ, they're focusing on towards that mid lane so that they can easily roam across those jungles here. Now, starting things off, I would say that members of TODAK gotta be really careful on their positioning, because we see a little bit of that error being forced, especially when they hit for those turtles.
Exactly, and I pointed out Dyro not good in team fighting situation. His only purpose, his sole purpose this game is to synchronize himself with Chiku, with the Hellcat to go for those split push. But because RRQ took down all the outer tier turrets in the middle lane, TODAK has less space to work with. Lemon being knocked back into the wall by the Hurricane Dance. 3 members on top of this Tamus, but Lemon just gonna walk it off.
Well, he didn't even bother at all. He knew that they don't really have that much of a damage output. As we're looking at RRQ here, so being pretty much well tanky in that sort of sense as well. And Jago here soaking the damage with the Esmeralda. But there we go. Liam re-engage.
Liam with the Tyrant's Revenge gets the bouncing ball into Nunas. He does find 3. RRQ, they know they're gonna play this slow. The split push continues from TODAK. This is where Dyrov starts to be effective, pushing out that bottom lane. You peel RRQ away from the rest of the team, you might win, but Moon, the flicker comes up, but Sin is not gonna let him get away. They slay the Chang'e once again.
They were all 2 split up, and now they're also having a rival towards the bottom side, which means that the split push is rendered useless. And then that's now getting chunked out by Jago. There's no escaping from this, but he's just buying enough time. And meanwhile, there's still something happening over mid lane.
Yeah, and the arrival also another factor. If you look at this replay brought to you by Ryu Mobile, there was nothing that TODAK can do. They do get the kill onto a member of RRQ, but to what avail? The arrival stops the split push. As long as you are able to match TODAK in terms of their map presence, you have no problem stopping that from happening. And X-Ray, he cannot fight. He's not ready to fight anytime just yet. Less than 10 minutes. RRQ size on the Lord. The Lord's gonna go over to the Indonesian squad.
Certainly agree with that, and with this sort of Lord takedown here, RRQ is set to close out the game. But Lord number 1, not really all too effective if you really want to commit all 5 members to actually defend the base. It's still relatively possible for TODAK to actually hold on for dear life. But now with that sort of goal extension, about 8k in total, I'm not too sure. TODAK needs to find a way to actually come back. And first of all, they really need to focus onto at least a single target in that sort of sense. Yes, they do have some tanky units, but X-Ray, like you said, is not ready to actually hit into skirmish. He can only do 1v1s. In that sort of scenario, then are they even supposed to split right now? Because every one of these members of RRQ are slowly finding a way to break open the base.
RRQ will knock on TODAK's door, and TODAK's will go with engage E1 with the Hurricane Dance, but they immediately send him back to Fountain. 1 down for TODAK, and there's 1 inhibitor for RRQ. The Lord has been slain. Nunas with the Curtis Poison tries to defend, and Lemon gonna push right and beat the front line. RRQ being really patient. Nunas now caught out, and they will make Pineapple Punch from him, and the engage from RRQ will slay X-Ray for the 3rd time in this game. And Indonesia are looking for that first crystal. They will take this opening match. Chico tries to save the game. You kill off Lemon, but gets pushed back by the Valiant. Jago on the monster kill streak. They don't have the minimum wave just yet, but it's pushing in. TODAK, they need to defend 2 versus 4. Can they do it? E1 clearing out the minute as much as he can. Moon is right in the back. E1 gonna give his life for this, but RRQ size on Crystal. They will take game 1.
Decisive game 1, ending off just about 10 minutes past that. And wow, what a high tempo game that we're seeing from both ends, as we see TODAK, of course, starting things off over the top side. And we're also